the week of the U.S. Open, because there's just a lot of players that are not good enough, are not patient enough to win this event. Steve, you've been doing this a long time. You've been around some of the best players in the world. You're one of the best teachers in the world. I'm going to let you start. Who do you like to win on this course this week, and why?
Well, these are a couple guys. So I was lucky enough during that PGA Championship to walk around the golf course and cover some of the best players up at Oak Hill. And you know, I really like. I'm going to start with Tommy Fleetwood. They call him Fairway Jesus. I know that he was right there last week. He's smelling victory. And you know what I like? And a lot of people would say, hey, maybe, you know, he's going to be tired flying from Toronto all the way out west. Tommy Fleetwood plays a lot of golf. He plays on his weeks off. He plays everywhere. So I just don't think he expends that much energy when he plays. A little more width out here, which is going to help him off the tee. Off the tee is not super strong suit for Tommy Fleetwood. You know, he's 6th in strokes gained total, 10th in strokes gained tee to green, 16th in putting. I mean, he made that huge putt on that the second to last playoff hole. And, you know, he just got beat by a 72-foot bomb. And so go figure. But Tommy Fleetwood, he's great in scrambling, great in sand saves. You're going to need that around here. That's really good. Brooks Koepka. What can we say that hasn't been said about Brooks Koepka? You know, I look back to a quote that the great Sandy Tatum from the USGA, the late great Sandy Tatum, who was an executive director at the USGA, his quote was, "We're not trying to humiliate the best players in the world. We're just trying to identify who they are." And this U.S. Open has identified Brooks Koepka twice, and I think they're going to identify him again because he is riding with so much confidence. He is so healthy, and this is prime time for Brooks Koepka. He is just feeling it this week, and this is a venue, and he's just going to shine. This is just something you just can't stop this guy right now. He is just that bull in a china shop. He is going to run you over. He's going to rip your heart out and show it to you while it's beaten.
Top twos. He hasn't finished outside the top two in the first two majors of the year. Maybe back it up with the top five for Brooks Koepka.
And he's 25 shots better in the majors since the start of 2017 over the next guy, who's Scotty Scheffler. So he is just crushing guys in majors and for a long time. So just keep your eye on him.
All right. Real quick, so many of you I just want to take a second, are asking about where are the head-to-head matchups at? What book are they at? Understand the reason that we tell you to watch this live is to listen to the information, because we know sometimes books have different matchups. So really listen to what my guys say about the player. And if you have a different matchup, say, hey, I remember what he said about Justin Rose, and it's Rose over this guy instead of what they gave out. That's why we do the show. So really pay attention and take notes, just like I do live on the show. Take notes. You can't remember everything. All right. Now, with all that being said, Counselor, I'm coming to you. Talk to me.
Yeah, and for the record, most of our head-to-head matchups are at FanDuel or DraftKings, which is a pretty big book. So a lot of people certainly have access to that. We're going to start with Jon Rahm. We've talked about him. I think Jon Rahm's getting a little bit forgotten. I think, you know, we can go sort of every other month and it's going to be Jon Rahm's going to be the best in the world. And then you go 2 months later and it's going to be Scotty Scheffler. And then you go 2 months later and then maybe it's Brooks Koepka. But the point is, I think Jon Rahm is very live to win here. And the U.S. Open track record speaks to me as well. Speaking of U.S. Open track record, what can we say about Brooks Koepka that we haven't already said? Obviously, he's coming off a major win, and he's coming off prior to that a really good showing at the Masters. I think plus 1,200 is a fine number for somebody that we know can close. And in terms of closers, we could probably count on one hand guys that we would really want to lean on as closers. And Brooks Koepka would probably be the first name, if not the second or third that we'd mention. Bryson DeChambeau at plus 4,500. Here's something interesting about Bryson that I haven't mentioned. If you look at Brooks Koepka at the Masters, what happened to him? Every single round, he got worse tee to green, and he flattened out on during round 4. If you recall, he kind of fizzled out and ended up finishing, what was it, T4 or whatever the case may be. But if you go round by round with Brooks Koepka, he actually got worse tee to green every single round, and he barely gained tee to green in round 4. Why might that be? Well, LIV only has 3 rounds. Maybe that's a part of it. Now take that and go to Bryson DeChambeau at the PGA Championship. Guess what? Every single round tee to green, he was great, mind you. he got worse every single round tee to green. And round 4, of course, was his worst round. And what happened to Brooks after the Masters? After he recalibrated when he was in contention, he ended up winning the PGA Championship. So the same might be true for Bryson DeChambeau at plus 4,500, getting worse tee to green every single round at his last major. Well, he might have found something now, recalibrate just like Brooks Koepka did when he was in contention. Now Bryson wins the U.S. Open. Don't be surprised.
That was a long walk around that lake, but I see where you got to. I see where you got to on that one. All right. Patrick, you're up.
Sorry, we got the train going on in the background, which you guys know. We got a winner inbound, and I'm with Counselor Jon Rahm, 11-1, and Steve said par 5 scoring. There's 5 of them this week. They're key. Number 1 on the PGA Tour in par 3 scoring, Jon Rahm. So we'll go with the world number 2, and then a name we have not mentioned yet, Jordan Spieth, 28-1. He's driving the ball great. The wrist injury is in the rearview mirror. Played great at Memorial. Looks sharp off the tee at the PGA Championship. Ranked only behind Bryson, Hovland, and Cantlay off the tee. So I love that when it comes to Spieth. And the putter has become a friend this season for him. So Spieth, 28-1. I know there's some Chambers Bay murmurs out there. The more the merrier, because that's where he captured it in 2015.
Wow, that was such a special week. I loved that week, even though the course was in terrible condition, or it looked like it anyway. Very quickly, love Brooks, love Victor Hovland, Matthew Fitzpatrick. Oh, let's not forget, he's the defending champion. He won last year, beat out Bryson and everybody else. So at plus 3,500, this is about a value pick. I wanted to give you somebody in that 3,000 to 5,000 range that can really do some damage. He likes when it's -6, -7. He doesn't like -25. He just told us that a couple weeks ago. So I like him at plus 3,500.